Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Borough Sports Television. I'm Ryan Burke alongside Sam Mencher. First, we're going to talk about our Yankees. How do you think it's going to be panning out for the Yankees against the Sox, and who's going to win the division, and all that stuff?
2 weeks ago, I came out and said that I felt like the Red Sox were going to blow past the Yankees, but it's that they've had some injuries. Their pitching staff doesn't look as terrifying to me anymore. There are certain guys who are going to come back down to earth. Adrian Gonzalez is not going to hit 360 this year. The Red Sox aren't going to take off. The Yankees have the ball in their court at this point.
The Yankees have been, littered with injuries. Cologne goes down, Hughes goes down, and now the captain, Jeter, goes down. Are the injuries going to catch up to them? Are people going to start to falter?
Phil Hughes is probably a week. Hopefully Jeter is the same.
I've had a problem with how the media has been treating Derek Jeter for the past, I would say, year and a half. Yeah, the guy hasn't had the stats. He hasn't batting his occasional, 300 plus. That's what happens when you get old. He just turned 37. It looks like a guy who hasn't taken steroids. You look at other guys with careers, like Barry Bonds did steroids. People frown upon that. But then you have a guy like Jeter who has been clean his entire career, and now he's starting to falter a little bit because he's getting old, he's getting a little worn out. How is this fair? Why are they just demeaning him? I don't understand that. Everyone's being a hypocrite about this.
Derek Jeter has always been one of the most controversial figures in all sports. 90% of people respect him, even Red Sox fans, because you can't hate the guy. Just look the last 2 or 3 weeks when he's been gone, and you see the impact Derek Jeter has. And when you have Ramiro Pena or Eduardo Nunez out there, I'm scared for them to get the ground ball hit to him. And it's terrifying. Derek Jeter might not get to a ball like all the way up the middle or all the way in the hole like he used to 10 years ago, but he's going to make the play that comes to him.
The team's been winning. You can't fault him on
he
that.
He swung the bat decent.
Now, here's the thing about Cologne. I'm concerned because he was, awesome for us. He was the biggest surprise, I would say, on our roster this year. And whenever the word hamstring comes around, I get a little worried about that. So who needs to step up?
The Yankees don't need to rush Bartolo Colon back if Phil Hughes can come back and be effective. And putting Phil Hughes back in rotation, all of a sudden you got 5 guys that you can at least feel like you have a chance to win out there. And, if Bartolo Colon does come back in a month or so, maybe one of these guys is going to get injured. Or maybe, Freddie Garcia loses it, or Nova, or somebody like that. I feel comfortable that the Yankees at least are going to have a few more arms than we expected.